Hello everybody, I'm the Masked YouTuber, and I watch YouTube videos so that you don't have to. Yeah, I stole that fucking intro. What are you gonna do about it? Cry, baby? Probably nothing. Now let's get on with the review. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I haven't done one of these in a while, so you guys are probably gonna have to help me out here. But I will say this. Today we'll be reviewing a channel that, well, I don't really hate it, but I mean, the guy is kind of cocky. I mean, when he talks about, he's the manager, he used to be the brand manager of Mattel when they did the Matty Collector series, when they did Masters Universe Classics line and the Super Friends Classics lines and whatnot. Wait, no, not Super Friends, it was DC Classics line. But anyway, today we will be talking about Spector Collect. Is it Spector Collective? I don't know. Well, let's take a look at the guy's channel right now. Let's see here, button time. Oh yeah, there it is right there. But let me blow that up and make it big and make me little. Okay, as you can see here, Spector Creative is all about this dude right here, Spector. This guy, his ego is so big that he actually even made an action figure for himself. But as you can see, he does have many playlists. I mean, a lot of times he's talking about Masters of the Universe figures. Sometimes he's talking about the toy industry and what the toy industry is doing and blah, blah, blah. I don't always talk about the toy industry. In fact, I don't ever really review toy review channels. But this guy, he's so much more than a toy reviewer. I mean, he does a lot of other stuff too. But today we will be reviewing him because this is one of my favorite toy review channels. And but I do think he does have a lot of flaws. Like, he doesn't get things wrong, but he says things that kind of makes your head spin sometimes. Like, man, what is this dude even talking about? So today we will be taking a look at some of those things. So now that we've gotten past the intro and all that stuff, let's take a look at some of the things this guy talks about. So anyway, this is one of the things that this guy was talking about. It really caught my eye because I remember watching Masters Universe, the Filmation cartoon series, when I was a little kid. And I'm sure a lot of you have too. And there were certain episodes where I thought, man, it'd be cool if I could play this episode, like literally get my action figures together and make believe that they were all part of the episode. But I thought, man, I really need a nephew figure, not nephew figure. Anyway, so this guy describes how and why the Mattel Classics actually made one. So let's hear what he has to say about this bozo.
Up in the Masters of the Universe Classic lineup was Neptune.
Neptune.
Neptune. Straightforward release. Filmation villain, part of the Filmation series, had his own episode, was the main villain of that episode. Makes sense to make him as a figure. Yet there was a lot of pushback from the fans over this figure about why we would include a character like this in the line. I mean, let's take a step back here. Everything we were doing for Filmation was always, we were finding characters like, Neptune here. Well, he starts off as an old man. After gaining a mystic Ankh amulet, he is able to transform into the powerful Masters of the Universe form of Neptune.
Now, here's the thing about that. Why do the fans have such a problem with that? I mean, isn't that essentially the storyline of Prince Adam? I mean, but instead of a magic Ankh, he found a magic sword, and like he was a weak little prince, and then he raises it up, goes, by the power of great. I mean,
By the power of Grayskull!
Wait, no, that sounds like Skeletor. Anyway, you get my point. Some fans are just so nitpicky about certain things, it almost makes you want to scratch your own head, like I'm scratching my arm right now. Anyway, back to his review. Is this a review? I don't know.
Do all sorts of evil things. Well, actually, he doesn't really do that many evil things. He does capture the sorceress, and he creates like these giant rock monsters because, everybody needs giant rock monsters. But the odd thing with Nepthu's inclusion, well, I guess to talk about the, call it ancient Egypt elephant in the room, I have not been shy about the fact that I like ancient Egypt. I have visited.
All right, we don't need to hear about your personal adventures in ancient Egypt and your little trip and your friends and the last crusades. Let's listen to more of the reason why you made this particular figure and why the fans were so upset about it. I mean, come on, man.
I had mentioned in a few chats at the time that I was a big fan of Neptune. And then when he got announced that he was coming in the line, fans were like, oh my God, Scott, how dare you put a character that you personally like in the line? You're supposed to be doing this for the fans. You chose a character just because you liked that episode? Well, yeah. I mean, one, that's what brand managers get to do all the time.
Brand manager, sorry.
Designers is make the characters that they like. But this wasn't exactly a crime against humanity. There were a lot of factors that went into who got chosen to be in the line. The biggest being tooling. And if you look,
I would love to have this figure right here, this blue gargoyle guy. I don't even know what his name is, but I'm sure he's pretty cool. Look at this version of Mantana here. Man, he looks scary. I mean, could you imagine having this version of Mantana as a child? I mean, just look at that mouth. It looks like a gaping anus. Anyway, I digress. Back to the review. A gaping anus with teeth.
Neptune is a lot less tooling than other characters. He doesn't have giant wings or a giant head. He doesn't have much armor, so it was very inexpensive to make. And when we got the Filmation rights in 2012, which absolutely opened up the door to a huge number of characters, well, we didn't want to blow through them all too quickly. There's certain characters from Filmation that are well known and others that not so much. And a lot of them have a lot of tooling.
That'd be kind of cool.
Why couldn't you make Dilemma instead of Neptune? Well, he's 100% tool. Yes, eventually he was released, but not in that year. We had to spread the tooling budget around, but more importantly, we were making a very deliberate effort to not.
I always wanted to get that guy there, Eyesore. I think he would be kind of cool if He-Man had almost like a Batman villain, because, I mean, that is where Filmation probably got the idea. Although Mr. Freeze wasn't as widely known or as big as he was at the time, but Mr. Freeze was in Batman, the 1960s TV show. And I think there was also another guy called Mr. Cold, and I think that was a Superman villain or something. I don't know. But this guy right here, I don't see why they didn't continue with him as a villain throughout the entire series or the run of the series. He would have been a great replacement for Skeletor when Skeletor wasn't in an episode. I mean, you know, you couldn't have Skeletor in every single episode going,
I'll get you next time, He-Man.
But anyway, I digress. Back to the show.
Do sort of just the top 10 requested Filmation figures in year one. We deliberately wanted to spread the love so that we had sort of
spread the love. That thing's got peanut butter on it. What if people are allergic to it?
So
then you're spreading the allergy.
Like Voltac, for example, was released, but not in the first year. This was deliberate. So putting Neptune in the line, yes, I do like Ancient Egypt, and I do like the episode he's in. And I understand some of the fan pushback. I think one of the bigger issues was the lack of the eye makeup. If you look at his eyes, he's sort of done just standard with the eyebrows and your normal paint ops. In the show, he had kind of the Egyptian makeup under and over his eyes. And honestly, I don't know why that wasn't added to the figure. But he did come with one of my favorite accessories, which is the magic object that turns him from that old man into...
You see, there's... what the heck of his name? I know it's Miro. Oh, crap. Well, he'll say it here in just a second.
The powerful wizard. Luckily, a previous powerful wizard figure we did, Marzo, already.
Marzo. Yeah, that's it. Marzo. You see, there was a Marzo in the Filmation series, but he was more. He kind of looked like Shakespeare. I mean, he had the big old Shakespeare shoulder pads with the Shakespeare hair and everything. Well, he looked just like Shakespeare, except he was like a countess. Count Marzo. Yeah, that was his name, Count Marzo. Man, I'll tell you what. It would have been great if they would have made a Filmation version of Count Marzo. And what they would have done is they could have released him in a 2-pack with his crony, Frankie or whatever he is. Basically, the guy looks like Frankenstein, but I think he was like purple or something. I don't remember. But anyway, let's listen to Spector Creator talk his way out of this one.
He had a gripping hand that was used for the amulet, which was awesome. I loved getting to use this gripping hand. It didn't get used that much because there's not that many characters that sort of require this piece. But man, it was awesome to be able to use this on Neptune so that he could hold his sun amulet Ankh and properly. Now, if you're asking what an Ankh is, are you?
Everybody knows what an Ankh is, dude. I used to wear one back in the 90s when everybody used to think Ankhs were cool. And then I realized that it was sort of like going against the Bible or something. I don't know. So then I quit wearing it. But then again, I do a lot of stuff that goes against the Bible, so I don't know what the hell I'm even talking about. Back to the review.
Okay, well, maybe you're not. But if you are, obviously, besides that object, what an Ankh actually is a shoe tie. It's a sandal. That's what you're actually...
Wait a minute. Where'd you get this from? Did you Google this in like the last 30 seconds before you included it into your video? I mean, you knew this? I mean, so basically, you walk into a store, you ask for an Ankh. Hey, my guy, can I get an Ankh from you? You're like, here's 2 of them. It's like, dude, what the hell are those? And the guy would be like, that's an Ankh. You asked for an Ankh. No, dude, I wanted one of those cross thingies. Oh, an Ankh. Well, why didn't you just say so? Dude, I did say so. I didn't know Ankhs were sandals. Why don't you just call them sandals? What the fuck is the matter with you, you stupid mother? Anyway, boy, I just went on a small rant there, didn't I? Well, that's enough of this review. I think we got other reviews that we could look at as well. I mean, this guy did a lot of them, and it would be a shame to waste our load on just one review. So, yeah, let's stop it right here and look at least one more, just so you get a very good idea of what this guy's all about and what he talks about and what he does. So this is another video that shows you, some of the other really cool stuff that this guy talks about.
More interesting things about being a adult action figure collectors, we tend to have a lot of rules about what we collect, which are put in place by ourselves. And usually this is to try to control our collection. As an example, I collect Fantastic Four figures, or I collect, as you saw, Spider-Man villains from Marvel Legends. I also love to collect X-Men, but specifically 1992.
Is that a picture of him in the background? I mean, that's a picture of him back there. No offense, dude, but you kind of look like a skinny Jared without glasses. Well, thank God you don't wear glasses.
Is that a word? 1992-ish figures. Now, occasionally I will buy sort of random characters that call out to me that I just think are cool, or I remember from, specific storyline from my childhood, or figures that don't fit in with a larger collection. It's sort of my exception box, shall we say. I also really get a kick out of getting some of my favorite characters over time and seeing how toy companies evolve.
I remember him from, I think it was Suicide Squad. He didn't have a very big role, and I think he died at the very beginning of the movie. Spoiler alerts. But yeah, he was a pretty cool character.
Their approach and how they improve. So a character I had sort of as an adolescent, now buying as an adult. Is there really a difference these days? Well, it's fun to watch. Now, I recently bought my very first ever deliberate purchase of the Incredible Hulk.
Deliberate purchase.
One would think, looking at my toy collection and the overwhelming number of Marvel characters I have, and DC, I do have quite a few of those. I just tend to give them a rest after being on hyperdrive for DC for 10 years. So I'm kind of taking a Marvel break, shall we say. Yet, for all this love for Marvel, why no Incredible Hulk figure? Why did I finally turn to buying one, and why this 80th figure? Well, I got to thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, and the more I took notes, and looking at how I passed on previous versions of Hulks, and sometimes with regret, it's interesting to see how I came here, why this is the first time that, metaphorically, I took a bite out of getting Incredible Hulk into my collection. So why pass up on this essential member of the Avengers? And
well, I'll tell you what, I got a couple of Incredible Hulk figures. I think I had, like, when I was a kid, I had a little tiny Incredible Hulk figure. I mean, maybe from Marvel, what the hell was the name of them guys? Superhero something. I don't know what it was. The only thing that pisses me off about the Incredible Hulk is you never can find, like, his counterpart. Like, you never can find his secret identity, which Marvel doesn't have a whole lot of secret identities because everybody knows the heroes by their real names and everything. But, I mean, where the hell is David Bruce Banner or Bruce Banner or David Banner or whatever the hell you want to call him? I mean, he's nowhere to be seen when it comes to Incredible Hulk things. And wouldn't it have been cool if you could, like, turn somehow your David Banner figure into the Incredible Hulk? You could have some kind of mechanism that made his clothes rip as he's changing into Incredible Hulk. I mean, what the fuck, Marvel? Come on, get on this. You spent about, what, 40 to 50 years, was it been about 50, maybe 60 years on this Incredible Hulk figure, and you still have no figure that has David Bruce Banner changing into the Incredible Hulk. I mean, they did have like a little tiny version of David Bruce Banner goes into a chamber, you switch it over, it's Incredible Hulk and blah, blah, blah. But you don't actually have, like, I mean, you got Bruce Wayne Batman, Clark Kent Superman, you even have, like, Peter Parker Spider-Man. I mean, come on, guys. Get on the ball already. It's been over 40 years or 50 years or whatever the fuck. Ooh, boy, I really went on a rant there, didn't I? Anyway, back to this guy and what he's saying about why it took him so long to get the Incredible Hulk.
Core Marvel A-list character who is absolutely one of the most well-known superheroes worldwide, because let's face it, what kid doesn't want to Hulk out? Why do I have, shall we say, this lack of nostalgia? I should come up with a better word for that.
Ooh,
they had a
smoke
word
got in my mask.
Well, I think a big part of it is the fact that I didn't exactly grow up with the Incredible Hulk. And
what?
that
Really?
sort of translated to really not wanting Hulk in my collection for many, many years, or at least not deliberately seeking one out.
You mean you never even seen, like, the TV show? You know, the do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do-do-do. I would love to hitchhike someday to that music, by the way. Just go down the road with my big old duffel bag on my shoulder going, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. The best YouTuber is on the run. He is presumed to be dead and must let people believe that he is dead until he can control the raging beast that dwells inside him. I don't think I'll ever control that raging beast, but I digress. Let's go on.
And now you might say, well, wait a minute, how could you have never heard of the Hulk? He's had toys for decades. Well, sort of. I mean, he had one toy, let's count them one, in the 1970s, the Mego Hulk, right?
Wait,
A lot
what?
of Marvel figures, this was their very first action figure. In fact, most superheroes didn't have toys until the late 60s, 1970s.
Right.
Hulk's big rise in pop culture fandom, of course, came from the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno interpretation on the TV series.
Damn right.
It came out in 1977, along with a lot of other great stuff like Star Wars and The Deer Hunter, which beat the pants off Star Wars at the Academy Awards.
Oh my God,
well,
it sure
I was
did.
born in 1978. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're 1 year late, you're not going to watch something. But if you...
Oh my God, dude, I had Incredible Hulk action figures. I had the comic books. I had the color forms. I remember Hell, the Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man shared color forms together. And I think Captain America came with that set too, but I'm not 100% on that.
You look at the way Hulk was portrayed in the 80s in action figures.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, or rather, lack thereof.
Secret Wars
was the big push for Marvel toys in the 80s, the way Nego.
Look how fat Spider-Man's head looks right there. I mean, the guy's got a fat head. It looks like he has no neck. Wait a minute. He looks like me. Oh, shit. Anyway, back to the review.
70s. And while the Secret Wars line from Mattel contained most of the A-list characters, as well as some characters that people had never heard of before, like Kang the Conqueror or Falcon, who the latter never even actually appeared in the Secret Wars comic book, but hey, who's keeping track? This line wound up being the entry point to a lot of
wow.
To the Marvel.
Look how long Wolverine's claws are right there. Oh my God. I didn't even know they made an action figure like that. And it looks like they're detachable too. So I guess you could pretend like, you know, if you took them off of him, like you pretend like they were sucked back into his hands or whatever. But they did make a figure, if I'm not mistaken, and I still have this figure to this day, where he does have retractable claws, but they're only retractable if you push them in, and then they pop out. But again, I digress. Those are some long fucking claws.
Marvel Universe. Being able to take figures and play with them, have that tactile feel, and connect with them physically.
Yeah.
While it was based around this storyline that was designed specifically to sell toys, well, it didn't exactly sell all of the toys. A few of the major characters that were in the content, like Hulk and...
Well, anyway, you get the basic idea of what this dude's all about. Now, I said at the beginning that I didn't exactly, that I liked this guy, but I just didn't exactly love this guy, where there's a good reason for that. You see, despite what I may say here today, and don't get me wrong, he is a good guy and I do like his videos, there is some controversy surrounding him. But in order to find out what that controversy is, you'll have to go to another action review channel that I like very much, and that's called Retro Blasting. Now you go to Retro Blasting and there's a specific video. I will put the video down in the description along with this guy's channel down in the description, so check that out as well. So while this guy does have a lot of good points on the things that he says, some of the things, the way he comes off can be narcissistic at times, and he can become an asshole. Well, not a total major asshole, but maybe just a little tiny asshole. Like, you know, a Smurf's asshole. But hey, speaking of assholes, not everybody is an asshole, but everybody has an asshole. And you know what the fuck comes out of them. So just remember, until next time, huh? What's that? Yeah. What? They do? What do you mean Target's got all the Marvel character? Hey everybody, Bash YouTuber here reminding you to smash that like button. I would tell you to smash the dislike button, but there is no dislike button anymore. Anyway, if you like what you see, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.